Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar Buzz, and we're talking about some TV today. We are talking about Abbott Elementary Season 2. The season just concluded, and it is very good. It's like very, very good. I'm Trevor, joined by Thomas as always, and we have special guest Sam, who will be joining us for a lot of the TV talk that we're going to be having. We're going to be doing lots of Emmys coverage over the next couple of months. But we don't review TV that often, so we're just gonna kind of roll with it. General thoughts on this season.
So it was a lot longer than the first season. It had 22 episodes to it, whereas the first only had 13.
Yeah.
Which for a network series where you watch one per week, I don't know how much I love. Towards the end of it, for like the second, half of it, third of it, I really saved them all. I kind of just didn't watch them weekly and wanted to binge like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Because it's so much better to watch a show like this that way. Whereas with something like Poker Face, The White Lotus, Succession, it's a show that I enjoy watching weekly, and kind of the suspense and the tension of it all really works that way. But with a network series, I understand why it's like this. But sitcoms, for me, I kind of just have to binge them because they're so easy to watch.
For sure.
And watching it that way was the best part of it. I really, really enjoyed it. I was a really big champion of the first season of this show, so I'm so happy to see that it's back. It's going to be back even more. Everybody is talking about it. Everybody loves it. It's just so much fun. It's so sweet and wholesome, but does a really nice job at sort of exposing the kind of deranged and terrible people that are in the system of charter schools, elementary schools, the funding that elementary schools and schools in general are given by the government, and
or lack thereof.
Totally kind of discussing all of that while being really charming and really witty, clever, funny, entertaining. Quinta does a really nice job at making each character so distinct, but she doesn't make it so you get sick of them or annoyed of them. They're always endearing and refreshing.
Yeah. And I think part of the reason why that works, and I think the week to week stuff does kind of work, is like there was a moment on Twitter like when they kissed for the first time. Sorry, spoilers. We're just gonna talk about spoilers.
Yes.
Okay, that happened like 7 weeks ago. But when they kissed for the first time, like that was like a moment on Twitter, and I feel like the week to week stuff does kind of work in those cases. I agree that like I prefer to watch something like.
And it's also 20 minutes, and there are ads.
Like, I feel like by the time you get to the next one, you've sort of forgotten what's happened. Whereas I feel like if you just binge it, you sort of get into that mindset, and you do become connected to the characters a lot easier if you went when watching it week to week. So I binged through the first series. This one I was watching week to week. I do think it did lose something, but I wouldn't say there was a marked drop in quality though. I still think all the writing was still top notch, like it was in the first series.
Better. I'd almost say that this season's better, honestly.
Actually, because it did allow for a lot more sort of character development. I really did feel that with Janine and Gregory in particular. Obviously, they are the two leads, so you do expect them to have a lot of development. But in the first series, it did feel a bit like, okay, they're just sort of these archetypal characters in the situation. It's very funny what they're doing. All the character dynamics are good. But here, it definitely felt like you were allowed to see them progress. I do think the extended number of episodes also helped that fact.
Which, granted, that could just be a second season, right? Like it could just be a second season, and we already know the characters, so we're allowed to build off of it. But I don't know. I thought this season worked really, really well. I think
I found more progression.
I think it had a lot stronger moments, I feel like, than the first season. Like this season also just so quotable. Like so quotable. So many great moments. But who is your guys' standout from the cast?
It's a very basic choice.
So hard.
I think Quinta Brunson. Yeah. Quinta Brunson deserves a lot of credit for what she is doing. She really grounds the character.
She deserves an Emmy, is what she deserves.
Well, exactly. Yeah, there you go. But she is obviously the dramatic focal point of the series, but she's also just a very funny character as well when she gets those humorous moments. So I definitely think, obviously you can mention maybe she's not your favorite character because often protagonists in sitcoms aren't, but I genuinely think she does probably break that, and she is, in my opinion, the standout of the cast.
Yeah. Sam?
I don't know. It's really hard for me because the first season I was all Ava, Janelle James. I thought like she was the most iconic, amazing, brilliant, like comedic timing. Like I've never seen it perfected like this in my life. I really have to say I'm very impressed with the role, like the dynamic that they gave to Lisa Ann Walters' character, Melissa.
Yes.
I really feel like she hasn't been sung enough. And I'm really hoping that this year she can pull out an Emmy nomination because she really is amazing in the show. But at the end of the day, it probably is always just going to be Janelle James for me, since
That's fair.
her one-liners are too good and her timing is absolutely impeccable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Lisa Ann Walter. Always amazing.
No, she's really, really good. And again, I think that she definitely benefited from this extended season, though, because she actually was able to get more episodes kind of like focused around her, I guess. Like there was more, I feel like she had more of like a progression with her narrative this season, which was really, really nice, I think. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, Sarah Lee Ralph, just, like, come on. She's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Also, we have
I mean, that's the part of what's just great about it. They're just all like so good, and they're all just perfect for these roles. Like, I couldn't imagine anyone else like it feels like the roles were really just written for the cast, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Like just outstanding ensemble. I mean, we haven't mentioned him yet. Tyler James Williams. Like fantastic work in this season. And I think that he almost has some of the most like dramatic beats, it feels like.
Yeah, especially that last episode, which interestingly, it wasn't the most comedic episode. Like there was this sort of comedic subplot with the aliens and stuff, but it was a lot more just about, okay, we get Tyler James Williams and Gwyneth Brunson. They get to really demonstrate their dramatic chops, and I was all here for it. I'm excited to see that expanded next series.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of sitcoms, they're pretty much every sitcom I've ever seen that lasted a good while has two characters who are obviously into each other, but it takes a very, very, very long time for them to actually end up with each other. So I never expected them to really end up together. Eventually they will, but it's going to take a long time because that's what these sitcoms like to play with.
Yeah. I mean, Friends.
But I really appreciated the way it felt natural to the characters. Like we saw Janine, she was working on herself. She was making decisions for herself. Like oftentimes in sitcoms, it's just like, oh, they can't get together because a new boyfriend suddenly appeared or whatever. It feels a bit contrived, but here it actually genuinely felt connected to the character's arc that we'd seen up until that point. So I definitely think it worked incredibly well.
I think why it worked in comparison to something like Friends, and not to like, shit on Friends or anything, but like, I think Abbott, the entire thing is focused around this school, right? So then they always have this, the writers always have this tool of like the school and things going on with the school. Whereas with something like Friends, and I'm just thinking this out, there's so many sitcoms that do this, but it's just like, just because it's just these characters existing in this nebulous space. And I think it's really important that Abbott has such a sense of place. Like you really get to know the school, and it's so cliche to say it, but like you really get to know the school as a character in the show. Right. And I think that's so important to work with the characters, because now you have the characters essentially they all interact with this one character that isn't really changing, but is like, they're changing around it. Which I think is just such a fascinating dynamic. And that's what I think elevates Abbott as a sitcom above so many other sitcoms that you see on network TV.
I agree with you there. And it's also just the type of show that has so much, I don't know what the word, memorabilia, memorability.
The words,
something, whatever. The noun form of that. Yeah. Because there are just so many moments in the show that I think of all the time, and it's maybe
staying power.
What?
Staying power. Yes, sure. That's probably optimal.
And it's maybe because I watch 9-minute clips of Principal Coleman being iconic for 9 minutes straight, or Barbara being a good Christian woman for 8 minutes, or Blueberries, awkward queen for 5. Like I watch those compilations on YouTube if I really don't have anything else to do.
Yeah,
so maybe that's why I remember these moments. But like I believe it was in the episode called Juice, or maybe The Principal's Office, one of the first ones.
Yeah,
where Barbara, Cheryl Lee Ralph's character, doesn't understand the names of certain celebrities and has a whole mix-up.
Yeah.
And for me, that was maybe like the funniest moment on the entire season.
Yeah.
So when she's just like, nobody has done more for Black actors than Tommy Lee Jones. And then Abe is just like James Earl Jones. So it's just like that.
Going to listen to Billy Bobby Brown. That's not how Millie Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown.
Bobby
Look
Brown.
at you, little Carrie Underwood.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just, again, it's so quotable. I mean, the writing in the show is just absolutely fantastic. It somehow is like constantly able to stay culturally relevant without ever feeling like it's trying to stay culturally relevant.
It is like all of the cultural sort of stuff that it introduced, like when we hear Jacob's learning sign language because the coder, like it would be a bit dated, and it did feel a little, but it just worked because it's so natural for the character. And again, all of these sort of pop, I guess it's not really pop culture references, but current references feel, again, as I said, tied to the character. And that's where I think this show really succeeds. It's because all of the comedic beats, all of the plot, even like the plot lines, serve to develop these characters further and serve to endear us to them even more, which is why I think it is a very good comfort show. And I think it's a very good show genuinely, just in the way it's written.
Absolutely. 1000%. Listen, I think that this can win Best Comedy Series. I genuinely do. Like, please not. Like, listen, no hate to Ted, but the season hasn't been the strongest.
Even that man wins over this, I will not be a happy person.
Mustache man. No, like, even my parents, who are like the biggest Ted Lasso stands in the world, like my mom was just like, yeah, the season isn't, as good as it has been before.
Yeah, people aren't really they're not taking to the series, whereas this series was just like just as good. Like the first one, obviously it was still going against Ted Lasso. I think if it had a bit more time, it could have genuinely won. So hopefully that momentum, hopefully that passion will carry over this time.
But also, that was Ted Lasso's highest reviewed season. This is its worst reviewed season by a considerable margin. Yeah. Like, people are not liking this season as much. And people, like, the passion has only grown for Abbott, and I feel like the passion is on decline for Ted Lasso.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, 100%.
But then again, like, the final season of Game of Thrones won the Best Drama Series Emmy, and that was canned. So
but that was Game of Thrones. This is like Ted Lasso, just because the first two did really well. I don't necessarily think the third one has to win.
No, but the Emmys are really, really obnoxious when it comes to repeat wins.
This is for sure the final season. Like, for sure. Like, I've been hearing that, but is it like for sure it's the final season?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but like, I think it's definitely.
We might have to wait another year.
Yeah, we might have to wait another year.
And I definitely think it will win eventually.
Yeah, it'll win sometime. But yeah.
It's just about whether this will be the time when it gets it, potentially. I think there's a very good chance, and I would say it's the favorite currently speaking.
I have it at number one. Maybe it's a bit of hope dictating, but I think it can genuinely happen. Writing, I'm hoping that Quinta can repeat a win. She should, especially I think this is like the last episode, like the finale. I think that's what.
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't write that last episode?
No. But
I mean, I also don't know if the last episode, because it is not the most comedically inclined. I feel like for the Emmys comedy writing, they might want to favor actual comedy writing. Whereas, I've heard Barry is not very comedic, so depending what episode they submit for that, but there might be a push for something a bit more comedic, I guess.
And Ted Lasso has never won writing at the Emmys. So
yeah.
I don't know what it would be, honestly. Like, what would be winning aside from Abbott, really? So I don't know.
Also, I really don't know if I want to do this, but I think Cheryl Lee Ralph is 100% winning again.
The
fact that
I think
she was able to last year. She won last year when Ted Lasso won both lead actor and supporting actor, directing and comedy series, and yet Hannah Waddingham couldn't win. And Cheryl Lee Ralph has been giving the most incredible speeches. Her Emmys garnered a lot of really good press. It garnered higher ratings for the Television Academy. I really think she'll probably just end up winning again.
I think the other thing is Abbott's stronger this year than it was last year. And last year it won for two things, Cheryl Lee Ralph and writing. And I feel like it bare minimum will win those two things again.
Yeah, especially when you've got an episode it was a penultimate episode. I don't exactly remember. It was probably Mum, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But that would just felt like an Emmy episode. You had Cheryl Lee Ralph and Quinta Brunson, the two acting together, crying together, all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It just felt like, okay, have your Emmy.
Yeah.
So hopefully, as I say, Quinta Brunson, hopefully she can win as well.
Yeah, and in that category, I think Janelle James should be nominated again, and I honestly think Lisa Ann Walters can get a nomination. Like,
I
they
hope
might
so.
triple nominate.
I think she can.
I
think we could get 5 actors in this year.
Yeah, because Quinta and Tyler James Williams are definitely getting nominated, and are a bare minimum it will get 4. Well, I shouldn't say bare minimum, but like it's probably getting 4, and like 5 is definitely possible, which is great.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so supporting actor Tyler
James and Shirley Ralph on their ballot. Like, I don't know anyone who wouldn't vote for both.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Tyler James Williams definitely getting a nom is win competitive. It's like him, Brett Goldstein, Harrison Ford. They're all right there. I think
he is. And to be honest, I wasn't convinced because we talked about this before the final episode was released. I wasn't convinced until we got that final episode, which I think was a real showcase for him.
Yeah.
Like before in the series, he is sort of just this quiet character. I mean, he is a sort of straight man of the series. So like he is the quiet character. He is more reserved. He doesn't give as many community moments. I still think he's very funny. I still think he's incredible at the role, but he's just not quite always like out in front. But that final episode was a real showcase for him.
It's an Emmy episode. That will probably be his episode that gets submitted.
And same with Quinta. I think he'll submit that.
Oh yeah, she'll definitely submit that final episode. But like, it's in Brett Goldstein. Like he's won the past 2 times. He really hasn't had like as much to do this season. Like,
okay, interesting.
I don't know. I feel like his role hasn't been as strong. So Tyler James Williams can definitely happen. Like, it's a close race between him, Harrison Ford for Shrinking, I should say, and Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso. Like, they're all the 3 of them in pretty close contention, I think. So into actress, Quinta, I think, should just be winning.
Yeah,
she's the most obvious choice. Yeah,
unless something weird happens, I feel like it'll.
But like, I don't even know who. Like, they're not going to give it to Jenna Ortega. They're not going to give it to like Rachel Brosnan. No. Like, who?
Yeah, that is the thing. Yeah, here and in writing, you just do look at the category and its competition. You think, like, really, is there anything that? Surely it should just be Abbott, right?
Christina Applegate, like probably not. Natasha Lyonne for poker, like I don't know. It really feels like it's going to be Quinta to me.
Yeah.
And like it could win writing in 3 acting categories, which would be huge.
Like, yeah, and it's also, so let's not forget, it is really her show. Like, come on. And if you're nominating the show and if you're giving the show wins, I don't understand how you wouldn't therefore give her a win as well.
Especially with this lineup. Like there's no Jean Smart to beat. Like I don't know who. And then as far as series, as we mentioned, we kind of think it's winning. Do you think this has any chance for directing?
No.
I don't think it really makes sense in directing. Yeah.
Because like Ted Lasso, Barry, and The Bear are probably going to fill up a lot of the spots. You have to imagine. Poker Face will probably take one. Yeah. So like I don't know if there's room for it.
For all intents and purposes, it is sort of just a multicam sitcom. So
exactly. So yeah, but overall, like we're looking at nominations in series, actress, supporting actor, 3 in supporting actress and writing, and potential wins in writing, supporting actress, into maybe series and supporting actor. Like could win 5 primetime Emmys. Like I think that the show's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. It's Ted Lasso's going to be the hurdle, but we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But any final thoughts on Abbott Elementary?
Not really. I mean, I'm just very much looking forward to, like, I'd happily watch another 3 series of this. You know, I don't want it to become that sitcom that sort of just, you know, goes a bit wrong towards the end. I have faith in them, and I would happily watch it for a good few years because it's just become a sort of instant comfort show.
Yeah. What is our rating of this out of 10?
10.
I'm going to start off with a 10. Sam, nice. Thomas.
I'll go a 9. I'll be a little harsh, but yeah.
I'll go a 9 as well. Yeah,
there we go.
But very, very strong. If you can't tell, we all really, really love Abbott Elementary. And I really hope it wins Best Comedy Series. It really should.
Yeah.
I think The Bear is like
mustache man.
Not mustache man. I think The Bear is a little bit better personally, but it's also not a comedy series.
No.
So like, and neither is Barry. So like,
No, and honestly, neither is Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso's more of a comedy than Barry and the Bear.
It is, but it's also not. It feels weird to put it in the same category as like Abbott.
Ted Lasso in
I feel like if you take out all the comedies like that, you're just gonna be less
Lasso
with
and
Abbott.
Succession are the same
Well,
level
I
of comedy.
think Barry is funnier than Ted Lasso.
Okay, but that's just personal preference.
That's
As far as what's trying to be comedic. But no, like Ted Lasso and Succession are the same level of comedy.
yeah, I think Succession is more of a comedy than like The Bear. So
Yeah,
It is. It
absolutely. So like, if we're gonna count that, I think Succession's more of a comedy than Barry at this point.
yeah, but I'm happy that it's in drama because then hopefully we get an Emmys in which Abbott Elementary and Succession.
Oh God, how good
take
would it
home
be? Abbott
best
in
series.
Succession.
That
Like,
would be.
And then
Perfect.
probably the fucking Jeffrey Dahmer story. So it all goes
but
down.
what if beef?
Yeah.
But what if beef?
Yeah, if beef wins, yeah. It'd be,
Well, that's having a lot of problems. We won't talk about that.
Yeah,
Anyways, well, thank you everybody for watching, and we will be doing plenty more Emmys coverage. We have Cannes coverage coming up very soon. We'll be doing a video every single day covering the Cannes Film Festival. So that will be fun. Oscars predictions updated after that. Plenty more reviews, TV reviews, Emmys predictions coming soon. Lots of fun stuff on the channel. But Sam, anything you'd like to plug?
Not really. I
Cool.
mean, I'm on Twitter at Sam the Parasite, but everyone probably knows that.
Yeah, well, maybe. We'll see. Follow Sam. We're on Twitter and Letterboxd. You'll find that in the description. I'll put Sam's in the description as well. Until next time, thank you everyone for watching. Stay safe and goodbye.